I own a vape shop. We're a small business with only 12 employees. One of my employees, Peggy, was supposed to open yesterday. I recently promoted Peggy to manager after 2 solid years of good work as cashier. I really thought that she could handle the responsibility. So I wake up 3 hours after the place should have been open and I have 22 notifications on the store Facebook page. Customers have been trying to come to the shop, but the store is closed. Employees are showing up to work, but they're locked out. I call Peggy and get no response. I text her and same thing. So I go in and open the store. An hour before her shift was supposed to be over, she calls me back. I ask her if she's okay and she says she needed to take a mental health day and do some self-care. I'm still pretty pissed at this point, but I'm trying to be understanding, as I know how important mental health can be. So I ask her why she didn't call me as soon as she knew that she needed the day off. Her response, I didn't have enough spoons in my drawer for that. Frankly, I don't know what that means, but it seems to me like she's saying that she cannot be trusted to handle the responsibility of opening the store in the morning. So I told her that she has 2 choices. Either go back to her old position with her old pay, or I fire her completely. She's calling me all sorts of ists now and says that I'm discriminating against her due to her poor mental health and her gender. None of this would have been a problem if she simply took 2 minutes to call out. I would have gotten up and opened the store on time. But this no call, no show shit is not the way to run a successful business. I think I might be the asshole here because I am taking away her promotion over something she really had no control over. But at the same time, she really could have called me. Am I the asshole for telling an employee that she can choose between demotion or termination? Part 2. Am I the asshole for telling an employee that she can choose between demotion or termination? Peggy reached out to me yesterday and apologized and asked if we could meet for lunch. We met up and the first thing she did was apologize again for the no call no show and also for her reaction to my response. She admitted that she knows I'm not sexist or ableist and explained that she was lashing out due to her mental state. I accepted her apology and offered her one of my own, both for giving too much responsibility too quickly and also for reacting out of emotion. She explained to me that she had a major issue on Monday, and without getting into too much detail, I'll just say that it was an anniversary of a bad thing. She's taking all of her accumulated PTO, 9 weeks, and we've agreed that going forward, I'm not going to put her on the schedule on that day ever again. She's admitted that she's not up to the role of manager. When she returns, she'll be in the role of lead cashier, a role I created specifically for her. This way, she can keep her raise and not feel like she got a demotion, but rather a lateral transfer. I've also let her know that if she ever feels like she's up to more responsibility, she can let me know and I'll put her right back on track for the manager spot. Also, I let her know that if she's ever in the position where she's not able to call out, she can simply text me a thumbs out emoji and I will accept that as a notice that she'll be missing her next shift. She agreed that will be okay even when she's out of spoons. Hopefully we can both move forward from this unfortunate incident and end up better for it.
Am I wrong for telling my boyfriend that he should have covered up his tattoos if he wanted any respect from my family? Oh, I'm already calling you the asshole here because that already just sounds really degrading and mean, and so I don't like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. We're polar opposites but managed to work through our differences in the past. Okay, for some context, he's almost 90% tattooed up to his neck, and comes from a difficult background, to put it mildly. Today, he's employed and doing well for himself, but his upbringing was quite rough. I wouldn't describe myself as posh at all, but I come from a family where image, looks, and your accomplishments matter. However, I'd say I'm a little more casual than them. A few months ago, I finally got the courage to introduce him to my family. This was a huge deal to me, and I told him that first impressions would make or break everything. I told him that he will cover his tattoos, no ifs, ands, or buts, because my parents are super old-fashioned. I bought him an outfit for the night to ensure he looked presentable and classy. We had a practice run, and I told him what he should do and shouldn't say, how to talk, how to address any of my dad's concerns, etc. Oh my god, what is this? At no point did he ever show any enthusiasm, so that was a bad sign. You're basically saying, hey, you're not good enough for my parents, and so therefore they're gonna say you're not good enough for my daughter. Fast forward to dinner. It was an absolute disaster. Yes, my parents and sister were a little critical, but they're like that with any guy I date. My boyfriend was so pissed that he purposely unbuttoned the top of his shirt so you could see his tatted neck. Of course, that offended my parents and a huge argument ensued. Not only were they telling him that he's not good enough for me, what did I say? They were telling me how disappointed they are. It was a nightmare. To make it worse, my boyfriend told them that I like his tattoos, which I do, but he was just adding fuel to the fire, and it didn't matter what they think. They told him to leave. See, this is where you fucked up. You should have had this conversation with your family before you brought your your boyfriend into this and make him feel like shit. You should have told him this is how he is. He has tattoos. If you want to meet him, great. If you don't, I'm not coming. Like, take it as that. Why would you? It goes without saying that my parents have zero respect for him now. It was already difficult to convince them that he's much sweeter than he may appear. My mom has been hysterical and asking why I'm having intimate relations with someone who looks like they belong in prison. He's not a criminal. Well, you made him sound like one. I have been guilt-tripped and made to feel like complete shit, all because he chose to wreak havoc. He didn't choose to wreak havoc. Why are you saying that? Like, you fucked up. Oh my god, I feel so bad for him. A couple of days ago, we were arguing and I told him that he should have hid his tattoos if he wanted any respect from people like my family. He was hurt and said that it's fucked up that I want him to change to gain respect from them. He even claimed that I'm obviously embarrassed to be associated with him and not even worthy of respect in his eyes. None of that is true, just saying. After the argument, we haven't talked much. So, am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that he should have covered his tattoos if he wanted to establish a level of respect my parents could work from? It's not that they bother me. I think he's crazy attractive, tattoos or not, but he knew that my parents would freak out.
Am I the asshole for walking around my house in lingerie? My husband and I got married recently and moved into our new home. The neighborhood is nice and quiet, and the neighbors are really nice except for this family that lives next to us. Although we just got back from our honeymoon, I still wear lingerie sometimes and walk around in them when I wake up in the morning and make breakfast. The other day I was in the kitchen preparing coffee while my husband was out and heard a knock on the door. I grabbed my robe and opened the door and found the next door neighbor. He said his 7-year-old kid's window is facing our living room and his daughter uses binoculars and saw me wearing inappropriate clothes while walking in the living room. I was taken aback, and it turns out the daughter uses her binoculars to watch the yard, but she peeped through our large windows. Am I the asshole for walking around my house in lingerie? I also want to say we do have curtains. He said it wasn't cool and his daughter just saw something she can't unsee and that is not appropriate. He requested that I be considerate when it comes to clothing or lack thereof, but I thought that was just ridiculous since this is my house. I argued that this is my home and I get to wear whatever I want, and also his daughter has no business peeping. He said she's a kid and meant no harm and was just curious. I said he was gonna have to leave, and he said he would ensure that I don't expose his daughter to stuff like that in the future. I told my husband and he agreed with our neighbors, saying I should just leave the laundry in the room where it belongs and learn to put decent clothes on. Also that I shouldn't have spoke to the neighbor like that.
I'm 15 years old. I have a stepsister who is a couple years older than me, and she's really seriously disabled. I'm not sure what's wrong with her because no one ever wants to discuss it with me, but she's nonverbal, breaks her bones a lot, and has severe epilepsy and will have many fitting episodes. She also doesn't understand stuff. That's probably the easiest way to put it. She's just a human body with nothing inside. She's my stepmom's daughter. My stepmom married my dad 3 years ago, and they dated only for a year before that. I don't know my stepmom very well, and I don't get along with her. We're respectful to each other, but I'm basically living with strangers because she's so busy with her daughter and my dad. I'm always on my own, and I used to hate it, but now I'm used to it. Ever since they moved in to live with us, life changed drastically for me because all the care now revolves around my stepsister. That's fine, I get it. Both my stepmom and dad ask me to do things for my stepsister that I don't want to do and I resent doing. Stuff like staying home when I want to go to the mall with my friends. They're disappointed that I don't get her anything for her birthday with my very limited funds, etc. My birth mom passed away when I was small, so I can't go stay anywhere else, and all in all, I'm just a lot more angry than I used to be because they seem really disappointed whenever I don't want to do anything for her. Even stuff like feeding her, like, I don't want to sit there feeding her banana pudding and wiping her drool. I didn't ask for this. Anyway, she recently fell a few days ago and had a seizure for 8 minutes. She was taken to the hospital and the doctors want to keep her there and look after her. I don't want to go and visit her. I remember seeing my mom in the hospital before she died, and I just hate hospitals and I sort of hate my stepsister, and I don't want to go visit someone who doesn't even know that I'm there. My stepmom is really upset with me, and so is my dad. They haven't yelled at me or anything, but they are both being super cold towards me because I don't want to visit. My grandma, who lives in Canada, called me up out of the blue and told me that it was okay and I don't need to force myself to go to the hospital, so I'm assuming that my dad told her that I'm refusing to go. He keeps pleading with me, but I keep telling him that I'm not doing it. I told him that hospitals remind me of mom, and he got even more upset and said that my stepsister might die and I need to stop being so selfish towards my stepmom. Half of my friends think that I should go, and the other half think that I'm justified in saying no. Am I the asshole because I refuse to go to visit my special needs sister in the hospital even though she's very sick?
Am I the asshole for judging my girlfriend for getting her nails done? Me, 21 male, and my girlfriend, 23 female, live together and split rent. It's our 4th month living together, and in December, my girlfriend told me she couldn't afford to spend half her rent because she works under the table and took time off to be with me on a family trip. I paid for all of the rent for 1 month, then I noticed my girlfriend going on spending sprees and paying for $500 lip injections. Also, multiple trips to the spa and nail salon. 2 days ago, my girlfriend came home from the nail salon and I ignored her and didn't ask to see her nails or toes like normal. The next day, she texted me and told me that she felt like I was judging her for getting her nails done, and I told her I wasn't gonna lie and that I was judging her. All that money could have went towards the rent. Am I the asshole for judging my girlfriend for getting her nails done? I said I was judging her for getting her nails done and trips to the spa, and all the money she has been spending could have easily gone towards the rent. I'm 1 year away from my bachelor's and I've managed to pay for the degree all myself using my own money. Last month was the first month I've ever had to put school money on a credit card because I needed the money for the rent. Now that I spent that money on rent, I have to put grocery bills and power bills and other bills on my credit card for the first time. I told this to my girlfriend and she told me that I'm an asshole for judging her for doing something that makes her feel happy. And that I should feel good knowing that I'm with a woman who wants to look good for me. She also said that we've split our finances and that I have no right to judge her for what she wants to spend money on. Am I the asshole for laughing at a child-free woman wanting to be a housewife? I've been online dating for quite a while, and my profile very clearly states I'm dating with marriage as the end goal. I matched a few weeks ago with a charming woman who said she was also dating with the intent to get married. She wanted a traditional relationship where she would be a housewife. I agree I'd be happy with that arrangement in the future. We chat about a variety of subjects and set up a date. During the date, she casually mentioned she doesn't want children. I said, but you said you were looking to become a housewife. She responds, you can be a housewife and still not want children. I chuckled and she took great offense. She said, why can't I be? I asked what she'd be doing all day. She said what housewives do after their children go off on their own. I said they usually go back to work. I told her no man is gonna take that deal.